Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. This is Martina and yes, it does look a little bit messy. And there is a reason, because this video will also be a little bit different than my usual videos. I plan to do it a little bit shorter and I plan to combine 3 topics into this video. And the first one is, I have been asked from some of you from time to time how I do make my journals. And usually when I do a journal, I'm so much in the flow that I just think about that I could explain how I do it after it's finished. So I thought, as I'm currently working on a journal, as you can obviously see, I can maybe show it to you, explain my process, explain my thinking, and hope that it's useful for you. The other topic is, and this is combined with the first one, is I'm going to share some of the key learnings that I gathered throughout the time I'm making journals, which is about now for 2 years or so, maybe 2.5 years. And the last but not the least one is, this will also be a kind of a teaser, a kind of an appetizer for my new journal to come. And as I'm also going to take a little creative break, it will take a little while until this one will be finished and it will be available in my Etsy shop. So if you are interested a little bit in the making of, the thinking process behind it and how it looks right now, stay tuned. How I do my journals. Well, I explained it already, I think I mentioned it in some of my videos, my previous videos, is that everything for me starts with making the cover. And how do I make the cover is, or how do I get inspiration for making the cover? This comes from different angles. Usually I look into my stash and I see something, and from that it all develops. And this also happens with this journal. You can see it's purple. It's very purple. It's also flowery. And it all started with this pretty butterfly, which has been gifted to me by my friend May. And then I saw that it's wonderfully combined, can be wonderfully be combined with this really pretty design paper and the purple doilies, which I recently bought. So what I did is, I assembled this all together. I have varnished the cardstock here. I have sewn on this purple doily, and behind it there is also another doily, and I've sewn this all on. Then I have glued on the top this white lace. I had sewn on this purple one, and then I hand stitched the others, these roses and the butterfly. So it looks like this. But of course this is a little bit fluffy. You need to have a body when you make a journal. I think I do need a body when I make a journal, and I formed the body not from a cereal box. No, not that healthy that time. So it's something which you probably know and probably love as much as I do. So I used it for making the cover. And what I did here is, because I want to have the edges also nice and neat, I attached some washi tape around it, which in a color which nicely matches the purple color of this one. And then I have also already attached the binding. These are 2 strips from sari silk in purple and in green. So it would look like that. So, well, that's not all. So what is important is, for me, because I'm one of the learning lessons I had, the assemble process I will last until the very end. So I try to do most of the things which come into or onto my journal I like to do before. Especially what is important for me, because as I'm working with a lot of lace on the edges and also lace or decoration on the edge of the journal, the binding needs to be behind it. So it should not be on top, because then it would somehow fold the ruffles, which you are going to see. So it need to be here. And it happened just from time to time that I forget and I attach it in the wrong way, and then I have to rearrange, and it's not always possible. But what comes here? What I did is, I found in my stash this really, really pretty purple trim. I have sewn on another trim, and I have sewn on this vintage lace, which stems from an old apron. So this will be finally, once everything else is done, this will be glued on like that. So I have it ready, I made it, and it will be glued on as one of the last steps. So this is the thing. And then, of course, when you do the signatures, I typically use a 5-hole stitch approach, because this is for me, when you have a longer journal, this is for me the best way to make it really secure and not have it too wobbly. And how do I attach? This is something which I learned, it took me a while to understand how to do it in the best way. And this is the way I figured out for myself. What I do is I sew on the signatures onto some cardstock, which is typically also decorated from the other side. And in between the different layers, I add some fabric. And this fabric, of course, is wider than the spine, because this will also hold the thing on the body. So I show it to you from this side, and what you can see is I have used some pretty cardstock here, and maybe you can also see I have used some further decoration with some lace, because I do not want to see the stitches or the holes which I make when I do the sewing. I do not want to let it be visible. So this is what I have done so far. I have worked on 5 signatures, and you might wonder why I have used different colors. Well, there is a reason, because I try to match the colors of the thread I use to the center spot of the respective signature, so that it does not interfere with the color scheme or the decoration. And this is how far I went already. Before I do the sewing on, of course, I sew or glue on all the different laces. Here you see I have ruffles, I have different laces. I have also dyed these laces because they were white and I wanted to give it a little bit more purple look. And I have all assembled already. There will be some flip outs which I have not yet glued, but I already put it in place. I have done some stamping. It's better to make the stamping before things are sewn on. Another lesson to learn, because when you do it before, then the paper can lie flat and you can stamp more neatly. And this is the center spot of where I have used the dark thread. And the reason is that, of course, this wonderful lace would not look so nice if I had used a pink ribbon or a pink thread. And you can see that I have sewn it on and I have formed pockets. And of course it will be covered up like this. So I have already prepared the things I'm going to use to cover the sewing. So I'm not going to show you each and every detail, because I will leave this until once this journal is finished. Just to let you know that it's important to decide before you sew, to decide which kind of ruffles or laces you want to have, especially if you sew it on. When you glue, you can still glue afterwards, and some of the laces I typically also glue at a later point in time, after the journal is almost done and I do the final steps of decoration. So, but how do I attach it? How do I make the assembly? How do I assemble the thing? So this is the body, as you can see. You can see also the numbers here. So I have marked the centimeters because I'm German, so it's centimeters, not inches. And I have also, what you can see here, I have secured the where it's being bent, I have secured it with some tape, because I want really to make it durable and it should last for some years, hopefully, or even longer. And therefore I also have attached this one here. I really like my journals to be to be lasting. And therefore I try to be as attentive to things which make it durable as much as I can. Of course, you never know, but this is how I do it. And this signatures, so this journal interior will be later, at a later point in time, will be glued on like that. And you can see that the fabric holds it in place, and it makes sure, because it's cotton, then it also can be glued very nicely and very neatly, that it's really secure. And what is important, and this is also another lesson I learned, is the spine, this spine here, needs to be a little less wide than the spine here, because if you measure it in exactly the right dimension, then you cannot bend it nicely. So I typically make it a little less wide so that it can flip easily, because the other thing is I also do attach the interior decoration. And the interior decoration, in that case, I have formed from some cardstock here, some design paper on top, and I've also added here another flip out. And this is a belly band, as you can see, with this really pretty border in purple. And this will be then also attached here. So, like this. And also something on this side there. And because this also has some width over here, of course, if you would not leave enough space, then it would somehow get somehow interfere, and you could not bend it nicely. So this is one thing. There was another thing which I wanted to show you. I just recently had the idea, and I did it in one of my last journals, and I did it here as well, how to decorate some pockets. And this is so easy. So I took some design paper, used some ribbon, folded it, and just have sewn it on, and it makes this really nice thing. And I have it here, and I also have it already, and this is already glued down. I have it here as well. I like it. It's so playful. It's a little bit girly, but this is what I wanted for this journal. So this is this one, and I show it to you in an almost, let's say, finished version, so that this is the teaser. It's not fully decorated, as you can see, from the inside. The outside is pretty much done. So it will look like that once it's done, which will take a couple of weeks, maybe a little bit more, because, as I say, I take a break. So this is this one, but while I was doing that, I loved it so much, and I thought, I can also do a little one, because I like the little ones as well, and I show it to you. It's the same style of making, or the same technique of making it, and this is the one. It looks like this. It has, as you can see, also some nice ruffles. It's much smaller. It's really, really a tiny one. And it also will have a butterfly. And this butterfly I have painted because I didn't like the colors. I have glued on this little ruffle. It will sit here. Isn't this cute? And I also like this trim in purple and white. And then I also decided to make another decoration on the spine. And this will be that. So this is a little cutie. And this little cutie inside also has some decoration on the inside. This will be that, with some more flip outs. And I'm so happy with that. I love the little one so much, but I also love the other one. But this, I think the little ones are so cute. Anyway, I'm going to work on that. It will take some weeks. You might want to stay tuned, and I hope I could convey a little bit of my, let's say, experience, my wisdom of journal making. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you soon whenever these two will be ready. Thank you very much. Have a last look. And this is how they are supposed to look once they are done. Oh, of course, more neat. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Have a nice day.